Las calles de las ciudades son el campo de batalla en muchas guerras y los edificios el objetivo de los bombardeos. Y aunque mueran inocentes, en las versiones oficiales parece que las bombas solo caen sobre terroristas y enemigos. El resto son daños colaterales. Para destapar las mentiras en las guerras está la Forense Architecture, una agencia que a través de la recreación arquitectónica encuentra pruebas de abusos en zonas de conflicto.
Hi, Mr. Weizman.
Su creador es el arquitecto israelí Eyal Weizman, que tuvo la idea brillante de examinar las calles y los edificios como si fueran cadáveres.
Think of us like pathologists of a building. You know, sometimes a doctor pathologist would look at the human body and would say, that scratch came from a knife, that came from poison or bullet, etc. Buildings are like mediums of inscription.
How do you proceed with your inquiries?
Imagine a bomb falls in Syria. The minute that happens, hundreds of people would switch on their smartphone and will record that incident from multiple perspectives. In order to tell a story about what happened, you need to sequence those images in time and space. You need to know which one was the first to film, from which direction, etc. And to do that, we have developed a technique called the architectural image complex. That is to say, we build architectural models, so sometimes urban models, sometimes we would build the entire city in 3D, and we'd locate all the perspectives in it. And then you can switch each one at a time and follow the story of what has taken place. And so architecture really is a kind of an optical device. Architecture is the way to see media.
En marzo de este año, el ejército de Estados Unidos anunció que uno de sus drones había matado a varios terroristas en un bombardeo a un centro de Al-Qaeda. Pero el equipo de Forense Architecture probó que el edificio era en realidad una mezquita en la que murieron decenas de civiles.
We found the actual architect of the building. There were plans, there were photographs, there were all videos during construction of what this place was. We have constructed first a blueprint and then a model. We matched then all the photographs from inside the model so that we can see absolutely precisely that what was targeted was indeed a mosque and that the Americans were lying.
And how do you know your sources are reliable?
That's it. In open source investigation is very different than traditional investigation. In traditional investigation, you'd say, is my source reliable? Who is that? What is his or her degree? Are they neutral? That you cannot do in open source investigation. What you do is you hoover in a lot of data, and you need the data to support each other.
Some people refuse social networks because the lack of privacy and surveillance, and you do the opposite, using these sources to place surveillance on governments.
Yeah. So that's the principle of counter-forensics, that we repurpose all the tools, all the bad tools of states. No? They spy at us from everywhere, from the air, from outer space with satellites, with CCTVs over here. They monitor our smartphones and they monitor our transactions. We would take those techniques and repurpose them. We'll turn the gaze against the state.
En 2014 demostraron que un policía de Israel disparó al menos a uno de los 2 menores palestinos que murieron en una manifestación. Para probarlo usaron vídeos de las cámaras de seguridad y de la televisión, gráficos en 3D y espectrogramas de sonido. 6 meses después, el policía fue detenido y acusado.
All states behave the same. They all first try to confront your evidence. They say that's not correct, the evidence. When they can no longer do it, when they can see that they can no longer do it, they say, these guys are just not qualified to tell the truth. Who are these guys? Either they would say these are communists, or they would say these are just artists. These are just clowns. How come they come against us? So when they cannot confront the evidence, they confront us personally, the kind of ad hominem attacks. Sometimes they're actual threats, and we take very, very serious the security and safety of our team members.
Forense Architecture recibe fondos de la Goldsmith, Universidad de Londres y de la Unión Europea, y está formada por arquitectos, pero también por científicos, periodistas o diseñadores gráficos que investigan hasta lo invisible. Cuando no hay imágenes, ni documentación ni nada, recurren a la memoria de las víctimas. Así recrearon la prisión siria de Saidnaya, uno de los sitios más inaccesibles del mundo.
The prison of Saidnaya must be one of the worst places on earth. There are very, very few survivors. We've built every room that they have seen. We've reconstructed the sound that they've heard. And slowly, through a process of architectural reconstruction, memories of what happened to those people, memories that were sometimes repressed because they were too painful to be remembered, you could architecture function as a doorway into memory. On the one hand, we build the building from the memory. On the other hand, the process of building the building allowed them to recall new things. So then you could see and you can move through that building and listen to their testimonies. The act of building an architectural model, the collective practice of building an architectural model with a victim, usually a victim that is very traumatized, that is asked to remember the most difficult moments of their life, is a way to access those repressed memories, is a way in which memories can assemble and come together. Building architecture is like building memories again.
At the end of your investigations, you find the truth, or rather just another interpretation of the truth?
There is not another interpretation of the truth. There is a truth. States think that they have monopoly over information in war. So I think that we're living in a situation where truth is a battlefield, and that we have to understand that it's socially and politically produced, and we have to understand that we do not need to evict the field to the lies of state.
And after your investigations, there are conclusions about the human being. What emerged?
People think that architecture is built to defend us against the element, against rain or cold. No, architecture has been primarily built to defend us against each other, and as a way of attacking each other. Architecture is a form of warfare from the very beginning of this profession.